Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel, and I would like to welcome you to the Optimizing Dealership Performance webinar series. Today, we're going to take a look at unit sales and F&I management. Before we get started, I wanted to encourage you guys throughout the webinar to ask questions using the Q&A, utility on the webinar. So feel free to ask questions. We're going to stop in each section here to give you time to ask questions and try to answer the best we can. So I really encourage you to do so. Today we're going to cover five subjects, and including the first one will be a brief overview of the Knowledge Center, and also talking about our broadcast tool. Second will be settings, so setting up your deal for success. Third will be the proposed options, general merchandise invoicing. We want to also review the unit profitability tab. And finally, we're going to show you closing a deal. We're going to show you a checklist that we have made up here to help you with closing deals and making sure you're not missing anything. I'd like to introduce our team here. I'm Daniel Lamontagne. I'll be the host. We also have Mike Gingras here. He's going to help us walk us through the Knowledge Center and the broadcast tool. And finally, there's Joanne, who's our specialist here when it comes to unit sales and F&I stuff. So we'll get started here. And I will pass it over to Mike for the actual presentation of the DealerVu Knowledge Center and the broadcast tool. You're on mute, Mike.
Sorry about that, everybody. I was on mute. Thank you, Dan. Welcome to the third webinar. Let's hope you enjoyed this one also. I'm going to start by talking about the broadcast tool that we implemented a couple of years ago. And it seemed, I just want to give you a reminder that it's important to view the messages we send, because we always send important information like build notes, new version, documentation, important messages from Harley-Davidson Company, also new documents, and so on and so forth, and webinar invitations. So as of the next version, there used to be a blowhorn at the bottom near the username. Now it's changed. It's going to be changed to a icon at the top right. You see an icon, yellow icon with number 5 on it. If you double click on this, you can have the previous messages that were sent in sorry about that. I'm losing my word here. In the broadcast tool, sorry about that. And you can click on the links for the webinars and so on and so forth. So it's important to read these messages. Now, to talk about the Help Center, if you click on Help and you go to the Knowledge Center, or you can also click on F1 and it's going to take you directly to the Knowledge Center. So it opens up a web page. Let's log out here. I just want to show you the login. So this is where you arrive on the page. So if you click sign in and you don't have an account, feel free to sign up. You input your name and your email address, and you sign up. You will receive within 2 or 3 minutes an email, a confirmation email to create your password. Once you create your password, you log back in the Knowledge Center. And in the Knowledge Center, you have different buttons over here that takes you to different documentation. For example, all the announcements and the Harley-Davidson communications are here. So you click on announcements and you will see the Harley-Davidson communications, the new versions. You have the list, you click on the list, and we try to separate the departments so it makes it easier for you guys to follow, so you don't have to go through the entire list if you're working at parts. So this is where we put the documentation. Anytime you click on the logo, it takes you back at home. Now, if you have the wrong language, you scroll down and you switch language over here. You toggle from French to English. There's also submit a request. We would appreciate it very much if you use this functionality. Why? First off, it's in real time. Any time you send an email at support, it goes through a filtering system, and many times these emails, they take maybe half an hour to create a ticket, 15 minutes, or sometimes they're marked as spam. So if your email is marked as spam, we never get your request. However, if you you submit a request here, it's real time. So for example, you start typing webinar. You already have documents that will talk about the webinar. So if these documents are not what you need, you go in the description, and we really appreciate that you add a description. Why? Because if the ticket concerns parts, well, Mike G has a good chance he's going to take that ticket. If it's accounting, well, there's a better chance you're going to have Joanne rather than me, because I'm going to call if there's no description and have someone else call you if it's concerning accounting. And you can also add files over here. By adding a file, you click, it can be a document, it can be a screenshot, anything. We appreciate you add other pertinent documents. So you click submit, and the ticket is created in real time. Also, if you click on your name here and you go down to requests, you can see all your previous tickets that have been created. And if you'd have one open over here, you could actually reply to this ticket. Sometimes we ask you, can you send me a screenshot, or can you send me the PDF, please? This is where you would do it. You would go in the ticket. Now it's closed. Like I said, you cannot do it, but you have a window at the bottom. You can type a message. You could add a file, or so on and so forth, and submit. So this is basically a recap of the Knowledge Center, and it's a great tool for you guys, and let's hope you enjoy it. Oh, by the way, we're putting all the webinars here at the bottom. So if you want to see the previous webinars, this is where you go to see the webinars. Back to you, Dan.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mike, for all that.
You're welcome.
It's very useful, very handy tool to have. At this point now, we're going to go into setting up the deal to success here, and I'm going to bring in Joanne to walk us through some things. So Joanne, if you want to take over.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for this presentation. Today we will talk about the impact of having your unit deal set up properly. Why it's important? It's because it's involved the profitability, not to forget to recover all the fees that you're supposed to. And of course, we do, as a human, we do error too. So the opportunity is to work as a team and have a special setup so you could follow a procedure to help everybody to understand the status and everything, how to create a deal properly. So to help to do this, we have in the solution, we have some setting that the system will allow us to set up in advance. So when the deal open, some information is already there for the salesperson to work with. We're also going to talk a little bit about the aftermarket and the setting up the retail price on the units. So I will share my screen. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir, we're good.
Okay, thank you. So a deal will always open at code. Okay, it's code status. So what is nice is if you want to add a unit and the unit's been stuck properly with the other info tab completed on the unit detail screen, when you're going to open your deal, the salesperson's going to add it. All the selling price and the information that needs to be included will show on the deal. So if I come here and I'm going to take my 2024, I'm going to create that, and I'm just going to come and pick up this unit. So right away, it's included It's opening with a price, a selling price that the salesperson could start to work with. And each dealership is different, but that selling price, the salesperson will know that it's include the surcharge, and some dealership will include the freight and other fee. So each dealership work a different way, but at least when you open the deal, it's easier for the salesperson because he has a price to start with. Okay. Now, when a deal open, it's always open at quote. Quote meaning it's you're dealing with the customer, you're talking about it, you're answering his question. He wants to know the difference in different things. It's not in work yet. It's just a discussion. So the customer go home, come back, and then he come back and he's ready to work. So that is when we put it in work. Okay. Now back to coach, you will see that even if the customer, you were saying, okay, I'm going to take a deposit, you can't. The system always says you can't. It's not a deal yet. So to be able to really work as a deal, it's in work. In work, it's mean you are working, this time you're working with this customer to make the deal and build and add everything, accessories that he would like to have on his unit. Right? The other status will be, the next one will be sold. Sold is when the deal went to the F&I, the finance been accepted, and then they're going to put it at sold, meaning that as a salesperson, you could go to the service department and say, can you order my parts now? It's a deal. The finance been accepted. There's no problem. And the deals you go along and get the parts order and the work started. Okay. Deliver is when the unit is delivered to the customer. So the unit is not on your lot anymore. You receive all the deposit you were supposed to get from the customer, and the customer is driving away with this unit. After that, depending how you work at your dealership, some dealership will pass to the sales manager, who then will put the deal at cap. When the deal at cap, it's lock all the information on the deal. You cannot do any more change. It's capped. And to uncap the deal, you need special permission. And then usually when it's capped, that's where it's at the stage that it's been sent to the accounting office to complete the transaction, to put it at post. Now, one is really important too, it's cancel. When I cancel a deal, I should never remove the information of the deal. The customer name, the unit, everything should stay on. Because if the customer is coming back in 6 months, this will be under the history of the customer, and you will be able to see what was the deal at the time. So you should never remove the information, just cancel it. And at the time when you cancel it, the unit go back in an inventory by itself. So this is the status that is really important to remember. Okay. So I did add my unit. So the next option, the next things I would like to talk about it is the setting. Under the system setting in DealerVu, you could set in advance some setting that every time the deal will open, those fees will be showing on the deal. So again, it's a tool to help the salesperson. So the pre-deal, it could be the PDI. The system could open with an amount there, or it could be all at zero. Sometimes we recommend it to just put at least one amount, so it's make the salesperson, when he look at the bottom of the deal, to say, oh, I have an amount here. I better go and check what it is. So pre-delivery, I could change it manually. Okay, I could add a delivery fee, a freight. Okay, and this is my tariff fee that I usually charge. And this is the fee if I finance my deal. So I could always change those amounts. So I'm going to say, okay. And then at the corner, at the right corner, I see it's what's going on with my deal. Everything I'm going to add, every item I'm going to add it's going to change the amount, and it's going to add some information depending what I put on my deal. So under the setting, we also could set up what we call aftermarket. Aftermarket is all the items that you're going to sell usually from a third party, okay, who is not extended warranty, or it could be a warranty, a second warranty, but not the primary extended warranty. So here we have different things. It could be a prepaid oil changer program that you have. It could be replacement insurance, and you could add as many as you wish. So the aftermarket option are set up under the system setting, again, to simplify and help the salesperson when building a deal. So if I say, okay, I see my selling price, and I could come add any price, any change, I could do it manually. So depending on the prepaid oil change I've done, I could say this one's going to be $500. Okay. And the other one, replacement insurance, is short at $1,500, but there's been an increase, so it's going to be $1,750. Okay. So every change I've done here, I could see the list, but again, at the right bottom corner, I see aftermarket that I did add $2,250. So now what's important too is every time I do a change on a deal, I should save, because I want to keep my information. Okay. If I forget something or something is wrong, the deal will have a pop window is going to open and say, you forgot this, or you shouldn't do this. So now from here, I should also use what we call control age. Control age is a permission to allow you to complete some information that the customer is not aware of and shouldn't see. So the cost. So I should have here, I should have my list. My cost is going to be $350, and on my replacement here is going to be $750. Why it's important to fill up the information? It's because it's going to have an impact on the profitability of the deal. So I have a selling price, and I should have a cost. So I'm going to save my information again. Okay. So now under the other charge, I have my information, I have my aftermarket, and I could always go on my disclosure sheet, who's easier to read if I go and see step by step what I've been doing so far. So this is a resume of what's going on, and this is giving me in detail. I could see each line what I'm doing. So that should help you. Okay, Dan, it's your turn.
All right. Thank you, Joanne, for that. Now I want to open it up at this point here for any questions about settings. If you have anything you want to ask Joanne, I'll give you guys a few seconds here. This is the time where I would like to, make sure we answer anything that comes out of this section. Okay, so I'll just wait a minute here and go from there. Anyways, throughout the webinar as well, if you have questions, just put them in the Q&A sections. I see a lot of you are using it at the moment. I like that. I appreciate it. We can always go back to whatever section. So as you guys go. Oh, Joanne, we have a question from Scott saying, where will we set up auto adding PDI?
Okay. Here, you go on the unit itself. You go show the detail. You go under info and full info. That is where you add your retail price and everything else. And you see here the PDI. So if I put my 650.
Joanne, you need to share your screen, okay?
Oh. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start over because I was not sharing my screen.
Yep.
So if you go under show detail, other info, full info. That is where I could add my freight to my retail price and my retail price. And if I put my PDI here, okay, I'm gonna close it. And that's what happened when you're gonna put the unit on the deal under the other charge. That's where my $650 was before I changed the amount to $500.
All right. There's another question here from Mariette. If you put a bike, I'm assuming it says bike deal in work, does the unit show as reserved?
It will show reserve on when you go and look at your unit inventory. Okay. I'm going to go refresh. I'm going to put the 2024. Refresh. You see, normally on the unit inventory, everything's going to be green when it's available, but blue means it's reserved. So it's going to show blue here, and then a little bit if you go on the list, a status, it's going to put its reserve.
Okay. We'll do one more question, Mark. I see you have a question here, Mark. We'll answer it. We'll answer it afterwards. But Bobby here has a question asking, how do you set up an aftermarket in system settings?
Yes. So in DealerVu, you have to have the permission to do this. Under the system setting, you come here. You're going to go unit aftermarket. And that's where we come. The accounting is always involved because each aftermarket is linked to a GL account. So usually when you want to set up a new aftermarket, you talk to the accounting, the general manager, the person who's due, so they make sure it's set up properly and all the tax, if it's taxable, that all the group tax is attached to the aftermarket.
Okay.
Okay.
One final question, and then we'll move on. I want to ask this one because it's good to hear. Mark is asking, why do you have to put a deal in work to open a parts and accessory work order? This says it causes many issues later by marking units reserved. Is there a way around this? Okay.
When the deal is at quote, you could create a service order. There's a permission under the system setting who's been added, giving permission to, allow you to create a service order at status code. We don't recommend it because when it's at status code, it's not really a deal. And if a service order is created by error and they order the parts and the deals it's a no-go, then you are kind of stuck with the parts because you order those parts. So, but there is a permission under the system setting. So under the system setting, there is a permission to do it. I don't exactly remember what they call it, but it's there.
We will put the permission in the actual, the thank you email that we send afterwards. The permission will be there.
That would be great. Thank you, Dan.
Yep. Okay.
So it's going back to you.
Yeah, let's move on here. So thank you for the questions, everybody. Keep them coming. We will answer them the best we can. And like I said, we can also chat through the questions as well, or we will create a ticket for you. Okay, the next section here is the proposed options in general merchandise invoicing. Once again, I will hand it off to Joanne to talk about this, and we can do a bit of a demo too of something as well. Go ahead, Joanne.
Okay, so it's maximize your profitability with strong process. Okay, so if you have a procedure, it's going to be easier because the delivery time could be delayed if it's not set up properly. The proposed option and service may be not ready because the service department didn't got everything you wanted. The profitability not going to reflect properly. So properly showing under the proposed options make a big difference. and also allowed you to discount and the customer see in real what's affecting his deal. And of course, the solution is always what we call a teamwork, working together with the service department, the F&I, and helping some tool by using kit and job code are now available under propose option and then discount strategy. So this time I'm going to share my screen again and make sure I don't forget. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again. I'm going to go back on my deal. Okay, I'm going to unlock myself. There we go. Okay, so I'm back on my deal and I'm going to go under my unit. And under my unit, I have the propose option. What is a propose option? A propose option is everything that I'm going to sell to the customer that will increase the value of the unit. Okay, so there's a big difference between proposed option and general merchandise. So what if a customer wants to buy some clothing or accessories, it should be sold under a general merchandise invoice, but everything that will increase the value should be sold under proposed option. So if a customer, if I know he wants to have a new parts or anything like that, you could add the part, a single part. If you know the parts number and everything, no problem to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to add a part here. Okay, you should always put a labor line. Even if you say, oh, the labor, don't worry, the labor is included in the selling price. For the customer, it's always important to see, really, he's saying that just to tease me. It's better, it's a good habit to do it here. And then you could give the customer a 100% discount. Now you see that you give him the labor. Don't forget, the labor will be charged to you from the service department. So it's better to put it, so when you create your service order, all the information is on the service order. Okay, so I'm going to save this information. And this system telling me this proposed option, do you want to do the service order? I want to continue. I'm not ready to create my service order. Because if the customer asks me to install a new seat, you want a double seat, you want, different things, I already have a job code for this. So I don't have to go and enter parts one by one and labor. I could come on my job code and say refresh. And then I could have a list here of all my job code that I do. Who are a very popular job. I do it all the time. So I'm going to take this one and say, okay. So because of my job code came in, I didn't have to worry. Everything's showing. Parts, how much it's going to cost. And the customer said, it's all there. So a job code is very good. So I'm going to save my information again. Okay, I get my message. Now, I have a kit. A kit usually is more like parts, I want to buy a safety kit. I want to buy a kit. So I could come and choose again and say refresh and choose a kit. And if it's a popular kit, there we go. All my prices here and there. With a kit, I could change and I could discount each part. So if I want to discount this one by 10%, I could. So every time I add or delete an item, it's changed the total of my option here at the top where I see my option. So as the job code, when it's a job code, I'm going to put it, the little sign plus, I'm going to bring it back to where I want. I cannot discount any item. I could discount just the total price. So if I go and put a discount, it's going to affect my total. So it's just put 10% here, but I have to do it from the total. I cannot do it on each part. Okay. So then I save my information. Okay. Customer come back, he changed his mind, he doesn't want something, I could delete it. I could delete an item, no problem. I'm going to delete it and then save. Again, it's changed my amount and everything is good. It's important to list my proposed option also because when I list it on my deal, all the parts I'm adding to the unit go under the warranty of the unit. So instead of being warranty just for 30 days or 90 days, it's becoming warranty for 3 years because it's attached to the unit. And also for insurance purpose. Okay. So when I've done that, then I could come and create what we call my service order for the service department. So I'm just going to come and create it. Then he asked me, do you want it to put it on a new service order? Because maybe they have. But when it's proposed option, the proposed option should always be done themselves on the service order. So now I have a tab, a little red little exclamation point. And if I go under this, I did create a service order. So the service order now, if I go to the service department, they should be able to see it. But I'm not ready to go to them because I'm not sure if the customer is going to pass the finance or anything like that. So this is how I should create my service order from a deal. I have a number, service order number, and then if I need to add more parts later on, I could. And then the system's going to ask me if I want to add it to the same service order that I opened previously, or I want a new one. So the option is there. Where you have to be very careful is when a service order is open, it's attached to a deal. You're going to see a little N here saying it's attached to the deal. You should never open other job like a warranty claim or a PDI or something like that, because that could hold the service order when you try to close the deal. You're waiting. You cannot close the service order because there's a warranty. So it's really important that this is related to the accessories on the deal. That's what it is. It stays like that. That's it. So this is what we recommend. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to come back on my unit. I want to set the customer.
Sorry, go ahead, Joanne. I'm sorry.
Customer wants to have general merchandise. He wants to buy a gift card. He wants to buy this. Then an invoice will be open to his name. I could add parts. I could add a miscellaneous item, a gift card, or anything I want. And what is due, I'm going to put the price, $500. Save it, put it at complete. And that due is the customer adding this charge to the finance of his deal. So under this, I cannot take any payment at all, because it's added. It's going to add to the total of the deal.
Awesome.
Okay, so it's going back to you, Dan.
Okay. Is there any questions about anything that Joanne just covered in this section here, in regards to general merchandise and service orders for installed options? Do the proposed options print on the bill of sale, Joanne?
Yeah, yes, but it all depends. I'm going to use the one here in DealerVu. Oh, I still have to share my screen, Dan?
No, you're sharing. You're good.
I'm sharing. Good. Okay, thank you. Yep. I was not sure. Okay, so if the bill of sales you have, most of the dealership have a PDF form that they set up the way they want. But if I was going to use this is just a tool in DealerVu. It's gonna thinking. Okay, I'm gonna put the big screen here, and this is the way it will show. I will show my units, and I see all my proposed options. They're all listed. and it's going to give me a subtotal. And I have an invoice for general merchandise. So this is the way this is supposed to print on the form that you are using if you set it up. Okay.
I'll just add to that one too, Mindy. If you're using a program bill of sale, typically yes, they will add those items onto those pre-printed bill of sales as well, up to about 13 to 17, depending on the form you're using. Okay. Awesome. All right, Joanne, I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for the questions. Next, we're going to cover the unit profitability tab, and we'll do a bit of a demo on that.
Okay,
so, Joanne, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm okay now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Understanding the profitability tab. There's a profitability tab on a deal, but you have to have permission to see it. Okay. Okay. You see my screen? Okay. So here with the Control H, if you have permission, okay, a second. Okay. So if you have the permission is under the system setting. If you have permission to see it, you're going to see a tab was called profitability. Okay. This will show you the profitability for each of the department who are involved in that sale. Okay. It's important to understand that this profitability tab will display the information based on the setting that you choose in the system. Meaning that if I other charge, I enter my freight, okay, my delivery fee of $7.50, it will show properly on the profitability tab. If you choose to include it in the selling price, then when you're going to look at your profitability tab, it's going to show that you're losing money with your freight. So the setting that you are using or the way you decide to work has an impact on what you're going to see under the profitability tab. Okay. So here, the first line is the profit, whose normally should be just on my unit. My unit cost me this, and this is the success retail price, the price I'm selling just my unit. Okay. Then my freight, I get charged $6.50. I charge the customer $7.50, so I'm making a profit of $100. Install option, I see a E beside it because it's an estimate because my service order is not closed yet. So until my service order is closed, it's going to be an estimate because the amount's going to show here. It's going to be the difference between what I charge the customer and what the service department will charge me. So if I charge the customer, as an example, $1,000, and the service department charged me $8, what is going to show here is $200, because in the sales department, I will have made $200 profit on the install option. The surcharge is always like in and out. So it's part of the cost, and it's part if you set up the deal, the retail price and everything under other option, the surcharge is included in the selling price. Okay. So if I had a trade over allowed amount on my trade, I will see an amount here. Okay. Documentation fee, there's a lot of dealers don't charge it. Some province you cannot charge a document fee. Some province you can. So you're going to see all this giving me my gross profit for my sales department. Then my next step is my service department. When my service order is going to be closed, I will see how much the service department charged me and what's my cost and what's the profit. So, and then it's going to give me a second total, including the profit in the service department. And then the last is everything that my F&I person sell, it's going to increase my profit. And then it's giving me my profit, including my F&I. If I sold general merchandise, it's going to come and it's going to be add there. And the total in blue include my 3 department, all my department: sales, unit, service, and F&I. So this is at the bottom right. At the bottom, there's a little line set. I don't know if you could see it because it's small, but it's always showing DealerVu and it's showing the amount. And that is the profit based just on the unit. That profit does not include the documentation fee. Okay, it's the profit without the documentation fee. So this is the profitability tab. This is help you. But again, you have to have the permission to see it. It's the same thing for the commission. The commission, your salespeople will come and enter their commission. You could go by employee. If the system is set up for it, they will put their name. And normally in their employee file, it could have a percentage, or they could come and put it manually here. And or it could be just a flat rate.
All right, Joanne, we have 2 questions right now.
Yes,
one here is, how do we change the doc fee to be included in the F&I sections as opposed to the top line profitability?
Okay, it's part of the here. It will be to be asked. We will have to ask development if they could move it, change the full table to put it below. So it's the only way we could show it down here.
Okay, so for now it's there, but it would have to be an enhancement request, right?
Yes, an enhancements request. You're right.
Okay, Bobby, I'll put that in the enhancement request queue for you. Okay. Next one here is, why do some of the profitability calculations not show up until the deal status is changed to delivered or capped? This is from Brian Jacobs.
Okay, it's because here I'm sold. Okay, I'm looking ahead of time. So when I'm going to post my deal, some of those invoices have to be posted to be able to see the information. Okay, so my service order, if I go under my service order right now, I didn't work on it yet. So it's not ready. I'm too early. I'm looking. We normally look at the profitability. We could look in the middle of it, but it's at the end when you post the deal that you see all the real profitability. You know, this is what it is at the end. So there's nothing stop me to look at it once a while, but really I'm going to see all the rating at the end when I'm going to post my deal. Put it at cap. Cap, you locked everything. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. And I'll share my screen, Joe, and we'll move on to the next one here. So thank you for the questions on the profitability tab. Oh, I have a question here from Gary. Joanne, you might be able to answer this one. What accounts make up the unit sale income summary report? Is that something you have to do a deep dive in?
Yes, I will have to.
Okay. If yeah, okay. Well, we'll create a case for you, Gary, on that one.
Yes, please.
And
yes, please.
We'll create
because
a case for you.
Because it's involved the GL account then. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everybody's is different here, so we'll have to look at that with you, Gary. All right. The last installment here, last section, will be closing the deal. So we're going to talk about a little checklist here and why it's important to do so. So I'll pass it again back off to Joanne.
Okay, it's important, the wrong GL account, missing commission, not the clear deal property. Deal can be closed with open service order. Lots of people think they can, but they can't. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to share my screen again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to my deal. Okay, so now I'm at sold. I'm going to deliver my unit because I have everything I wanted to to do. If I was going to take a deposit and I forget to take it, the system will tell me that it cannot go at deliver because I didn't took all the money from the customer. Okay, so that's part of checking my deal before I put it at deliver. So I should check my customer name, the information, everything is there because I need it. I should make sure that I check the VIN number with the actual unit because it's happened that customer realized that they've gone with the wrong unit, wrong VIN number. So it's really important to take the time to check those things. Okay. So I'm ready. It's delivered. I'm going to save it. Okay. So when it's delivered, normally the file should go to the the sales manager, or sometimes it's going directly to the accounting. From there, they're going to put it at cap. That means it's going to lock all the information, and the system's going to ask me information too, because don't forget, I have an open service order here. So I'm going to say save. Now, the system says you have a service order. Okay. Okay. So usually it would say, this is the amount that you have, it's open. And I want to close my deal because I want it to be part of my month end. So I say, okay, I'm going to give you an estimate of 1,751.44. I usually always match what's the total because the system tells me the service order is open for that amount. So I should always agree with this amount. And I'm going to say yes. Okay. Now it's going to tell me you have a general merchandise invoice also. Okay. And it's going to be locked. I'm going to say yes. Doing some thinking. Okay. So when it said that to me, I should come under my general merchandise invoice. Just make sure it's that complete. But I'm going to change the status to cap because the deal is on the deal, cap, and save. Okay, so I'm going to close that. Thinking. Okay. Now, if I go back under my profitability tab, my number will show. See, so earlier, when I kept my service order open, there was an amount of 1,051 and 44 cents with a E beside it. Now I could see. So the service department charged me that, but I just made $29.32 in my sales department on my accessories. Okay. And I show my profit here in my service department. So of course my profit changed here because it was just an estimate at first. So now I see my real profit and what this includes. So if when the service order is going to close, okay, if I go on my unit, I will go on my unit, show the detail. I'm going to go under my cost adjustment. I could see my service order here, and it says it's an estimate. It's going to my accrual. When I'm going to close that service order, if the service order is higher or less than the amount that I see here, it will come and it will create an after-sale adjustment who will affect my sales account of that unit. That's what the system will do. Okay. If the amount is the same, of course, it's just going to close itself and it's not going to affect anything else. So that will do. When the deal is at cap, if you want to uncap the deal, you need a special permission. You cannot just uncap the deal. You need to have the permission to do it. Okay. And after that, is the file is transferred to the accounting, because if I have the permission, Control H, okay, and there's a new tab who's called GL transaction. And that's where in accounting, they will be able to change a GL account, or they could even add a line to add a new transaction, a new GL account. Okay, so I choose an account and I just say refresh, and it's going to add a new line for me. So if I want to remove an amount, change an account, the system allowed you to add another line, or it could also be removed. Here we go. I save. And now the deal is closed. Back to you, Dan.
Excellent. Thank you, Joanne. Are there any questions about this little checklist that Joanne went through? Are there any questions about closing deals or capping or posting deals? Give everybody a minute here. If there's not any questions right now,
Okay.
at this moment, so we went through that. I just want to take a minute. Oh, I think there was a question after all here. Why would you ever need to add a GL account to a GL transaction on the GL transaction tab? It's a good question.
Okay, so let's say you decide that you have a prepaid oil change and you want to be divided, because you're going to put a certain amount that you want to put as an income and the other amount you want to put is if you want to divide an expense. So it's giving you the option to do it.
That's perfect. All right, thank you, Joanne. Okay, I'd like to take a minute to thank you guys for coming to the webinar. I'll be sending out an email with some of the shortcuts and also a link to the actual webinar itself. In that link too, there will be a survey that really helps us, because if we want to make more of these, we need to have some input from you guys to see what subjects you want us to tackle. So if there's any of those you want to answer, please answer those surveys, so that way we can keep going with these things. Otherwise, I thank you guys for coming, and I wish you guys all a good day, and we'll talk soon.